The year is 2019. A younger, slimmer me is reviewing The Promised Neverland Season 1 and having an awesome time. Jump to 2021, I think, right? And a slightly more chunky version of me, an older, more wise me, is reviewing the second season of Promised Neverland and is having not a fun time. However, in the last final hours of that terrible season, I was told that I should watch and review Shadow's House. Now, that didn't happen. I mean, part of it did not happen. I didn't review it. I was suggested it, and I thought, oh, hey, that's a cool idea. I guess it has some mystery to it in a similar way to The Promised Neverland kind of did at one point. And it seems like it could be cool and interesting. And then it aired, and I didn't watch it. And I didn't actually even know it was a manga prior to it now, like last week. And so it aired, and then I queued it up on my Funimation queue, and then it just sat there for like 2 months. So it didn't happen until this last week. And I binged the entire first season, and I loved it. Between the opening song and the ending song, I have it stuck in my head, and I love everything about it. It's kind of got this like, okay, I'm going to use this word knowing that it's probably not quite that, but it's like a Victorian style kind of thing, where it's like, oh, everybody's wearing dresses, and you got the maids and butlers kind of thing going on. However, it is nuts. I don't know if I'm like one to be a spoiler, but I will, I don't know if it's something to be spoiled, but I will not spoil anything significant, I hope. I honestly just wanted to make this video so I could come on record and say I have been sleeping on Shadow's House. I watched the entire season, loved it, and then was like, I need more. And so I found a website and had, I don't know, presumably up to the current chapter. And then I started at chapter 48, which is somewhere kind of in the middle of the ending of the season, because they ended the season in a totally different way than the manga continues on, which honestly, having now read a little bit further, I kind of see that they had a reason to do that, because there's no easy stopping point for everything. So they had this kind of like, in the season, they kind of had like the main villain kind of do some extravagant stuff that he doesn't do in the manga, and then they kind of need to backtrack a little bit because it's not like he gets punished in any significant way. Also, I have not even described what Shadow's House is if you haven't seen it. And because I am terrible at describing animes, I'm just going to leave it in, here's a screenshot of Wikipedia's description of the plot that doesn't really give away anything of the secrets. Either way, you got the shadows, you got the dolls, and you got mystery about where did they come from, why are they doing what they do, what is this caste system, you got the children in one part of the house, you got the adults in the other, and clearly the children want to become adults. It's a whole thing. So they kind of had to wrap it up in some way, leaving with like kind of a cliffhanger kind of thing. I get it, but I started at chapter 48 because it kind of backtracks a little bit in terms of the story, but it kind of spreads some stuff out. There's a lot of character development that they kind of rush through in the little like mini arc at the end of the first season that they do, and I think it's fleshed out a lot better as far as Kate and Emiliko and John and Sean. And Sean and John are probably two of my favorite characters in anime entirely. They have a great dynamic. John is so goofy, and like he's like when everybody else is like relatively serious and takes themselves seriously, you have John just this unbelievably lack of self-aware awareness, Shadow just being such a dummy, and I love it. So anyways, I started at 48. I've read up to, at least at this point, chapter 69. Nice. And I'm so excited to keep reading the story. There's a lot of things that as I was watching the season, I was like theorizing and my brain was turning. The twist about the dolls is really, really big, and I'm surprised that they revealed it, honestly, as so soon. And I'm surprised that they revealed, honestly, I'm surprised they revealed a lot. They revealed who the dolls actually are, because there's a whole thing about that. They revealed why the shadows have their dolls actually, what their end goal ultimately on an individual level is. And they kind of set up like some like ultimate villain stuff or whatever. Like there's a lot of stuff that I'm surprised that they revealed so early on. And I'm kind of hoping that there's more of a twist to it later on that they haven't revealed, because it seems like all the stuff is falling into place relatively early in the story. One thing that does interest me about this is apparently it's published in Shonen, well, in Shueisha's Young Jump, Weekly Young Jump, which is like for kids. So I never see this. I don't think that this will ever go into like, so whether you're reading the manga or you're watching the anime, Promise Neverland goes in some places where it's like, I think they get guns at one point. It's because I think Promise Neverland was in Shonen Jump, Weekly Shonen Jump. So I don't see that this ever going in that direction where it's like, oh, they're gonna like start shooting up some people or whatever. Because it's supposed to be geared technically for kids, but it's still got a really good all around intrigue, I guess, if that's the word I want to use. It's definitely not just for kids. I think the reason it's in the Weekly Young Jump is because it's probably just never gonna touch on violence that goes too far. Nobody's gonna die in a bloody, gory way. The worst you're gonna get is like people getting soot sickness. Also, the shadows give off soot for some reason because they're probably just made out of soot. They're like sentient soot, basically. That's what it is. Whoops, I kind of revealed something, but not really much because that's like really early on stuff. Really, I just wanted to make this video because I wanted to talk about it. I love Emiliko, even though she's kind of that archetype of like, oh, she's the goofy, like everybody else is taking seriously, even compared to like John and Sean. She's kind of like this bright, like, I think they call her, oh, what did they call her? She's like the Sunshine Girl or something like that, because she's just like very bright and goofy and very kind, and compared to everybody else, it's like she's not like anybody else. So I think sometimes that kind of character can come off as a bit too much, but I think her being paired with Kate, who is significantly more subdued and a little bit more prim and proper, I think it works really well, and they're a really good balance of each other. One thing that I am a little disappointed about, and the fact that it is a Weekly Young Jump manga, is that Shueisha, Viz, and like just Shonen Jump in general don't seem to really, there's no official way to read it. There's no official translation as far as I know, because I don't think that they really pay attention to the Young Jump over here. And if they do bring anything over, it kind of is just thrown out. Maybe there's a physical manga, but they don't have it on like the Jump website. So that's a little bit disappointing, because I really, really would love to read it weekly, or whenever it comes out. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to resort to a fan website. But one thing I do like about that, I don't know if this is like everything, it is colored on the website that I'm reading it in. They might be coloring it themselves, or it might just come as colored. I don't know. Either way, I really like that. I think it brings in the immersion of it and helps me kind of see the difference between the shadows and what's like, you know, normally black and white. I really just wanted to talk about this. I love these two characters. I love John and Sean. Patrick and Ricky, I could take her to leave. Lou and Louise, they're I don't know. There's a whole thing about like Patrick and Ricky and Lou and Louise that like I definitely see there being like, so side note, Lou and Louise, Louise being the shadow and Lou being the I was gonna call her a puppet, which kind of Lou being the doll. They're kind of like up their own butts. Well, not Lou, but like Louise is kind of up her own butt. She's very self-centered in some ways. She's not necessarily a bad guy. She's part of their group. But I can definitely see there being a moment in which they are brought to the like villain, the main villain, and given an option of like, oh, like, why don't you join us? Like, whatever, we'll figure it out and you can join us. But maybe it's like they have to like sacrifice their dolls. And I can definitely see there being a moment where the self-centered Louise does not do that, but maybe Patrick does. Patrick's conflicted. He seems like he's genuinely a nice guy, but maybe is like having some issues. But that being said, I'm not even caught up on the manga, so we'll see where things go with this. In any event, I just wanted to talk about this in some small fashion. I've been talking about it on my Twitter. I'll probably continue talking on my Twitter. I didn't want to review it because honestly, I think I liked watching the anime just as is, and I think I really like just reading the manga as I go through, and maybe I'll just make future videos talking about it in the future, which is what future videos would be. But I just really wanted to get my thoughts out. If you had not read Shadow's House, or at least watched the anime, I highly, highly recommend it. It is so interesting and so fun and so mysterious, and I'm excited to see more. And if you have been keeping up with Shadow's House, no spoilers, what do you think? Talk to me about it. Here's what I will say. I'm not spoiling anything in this video, but maybe watch out down below in the comment section, because if I have a conversation with somebody and somebody says something, I can't control that. And also, I really want to just have a conversation with somebody about this series because it's so cool. In any event, I'm just gonna leave it there because I'm just gonna end up rambling on and on and on. Make sure to leave a like if you want to see anything more about Shadow's House. Maybe when season 2 comes out, maybe I'll review that. By then I'll have been all the way caught up on the series as a whole, but I'm interested to see where they go with the anime only stuff, and how they kind of like backtrack a little bit to catch it back into the main story. Also, I'm a little afraid because Cloverworks Studios is the one making it. They're the ones who did the Promised Neverland anime, so oh, please don't screw this up. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Shadow's House content. I'd like to talk about it, maybe more. Maybe in videos where I'm not trying to tap dance around spoilers. This is the first time I'm talking about it in general, so I don't want to be like bringing it up and then like having people that maybe have never seen it get spoiled on stuff, because there are some really good plot twists in this. But yeah, let me know what you think down below in the comment section about this series. I will see you guys in hopefully another video soon. See you later. She's so cute. She's a cutie. Tweak. Her and Rolly are great.